Hi guys, welcome and who dat? I'm Joe, and today I'm going to be previewing the Week 8 matchup that will see our beloved, bless you boys, in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints, travel to Indiana to take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Saints are 3-4, the Colts are 3-4. Both teams have lost 2 games in a row. Both teams are desperate. The Saints are 1-4 in the last 5 games after starting 2-0. So I would say the Saints are a bit more desperate when you consider that, plus the fact that we had pretty high expectations for the Saints going into this season. The Colts were planning on riding this season with rookie quarterback, first-round pick Anthony Richardson. Richardson is hurt right now, so he's out for the rest of the year. A severe sprain to that same injury Derek Carr had, only Richardson is going to require surgery. So he's out. Gardner Minshew is in. The Saints have played Minshew a bunch and have had a lot of success versus Minshew. But Minshew's the type of quarterback that should give the Saints a problem. You know, he can escape and run. And so those are the kind of things that, I think if Minshew picks his spots, can have a lot of success against this team. But Minshew does turn the ball over quite a bit. The Colts do as well. I believe they've had like 8 turnovers in the last 2 games. I think that the Colts are pretty good defense against the run, but their secondary is questionable, so they've given up some passing yards. As an offense, the Colts average like over 25 points a game. They're the only team in the league that have scored 20 or more points every game this season. So the Colts can score quite a bit. I think they have a good running attack with Moss, formerly of the Bills, who showed that he can be the number 1 back. And then they got Taylor back into the mix with a new contract. And I think Taylor's one of the best running backs in the league. So that's going to be an issue for the Saints. The Colts offensive line is one of the best in the league. They always have been. And if they're healthy for this game, it's going to be tough, because I truly believe games are won in the trenches. They have a lot of money invested in that offensive line. The Saints have a lot of high draft capital and money invested in our line as well. We're seeing 2 different results right now. The Colts are good at wide receiver with Pittman and the rookie Downs. And they have a slew of tight ends, like 4 good, really young tight ends, mismatch type of tight ends. So we're going to have our hands full with their offense. And defensively, even though they're scoring 25 points a game, they're still 3-4, meaning they're giving up quite a bit. And I think most of that is passing. So can the Saints pass this week? Can they run this week? The Saints have issues on offense. Let's pull up the offense and look at the Saints right now. This is the way it sits. It's the same. Nothing has changed. We're going to go with our 3 running backs. And I believe as I show these rosters, the depth charts, I'm going to mention the practice squad activity as well. So we're going with 3 backs. Kendre Miller's fine with his shoulder. He's good to go. Jamal Williams is another weekend from that. He was injured for 4 games. He came back last week, but he was on a pitch count. So, he should be more involved this week as well. Kamara's looking great. It all depends on what we got with the offensive line. James Hurst is still injured. He's not participating in practice. I don't expect him to play. And if Hurst was healthy, I'm not sure if he would play guard or tackle. Our intention was to put him back at tackle, but then he got hurt. And we decided to roll with Andres Pete at left tackle instead of Penning. And it worked out pretty good. Max Garcia stepped up to play left guard. And Garcia graded out pretty good in this past game. He's getting better and better. We didn't have Ramczyk for the last game, but he's back now from his concussion protocol. He participated in practice yesterday fully, so we expect to have Ramczyk back. As far as wide receivers go, Chris Olave, the whole reckless driving thing, I don't think this is going to be a big issue as far as the way the coaches look at it or the way the league looks at it. Everyone knows it's a big issue. Shouldn't be driving recklessly. You shouldn't be speeding in a 35-mile-per-hour zone, and you shouldn't be slowing down on the football field during your routes. So hopefully they've gotten their miscommunication done away with. We want Carr, Olave, Thomas, Rashid to all be on the same page. We're halfway through the season now, so enough excuses. Let's see what we have. We're paying Derek Carr all this money. I expect to see some production, especially in this game against the Colts. If we can't do it against them, we might as well start looking for a new head coach, offensive coordinator, the whole thing. So we have Juwan Johnson back at practice. He's been limited, but we kind of expect him to play this week. That should be an upgrade at tight end. And we just released J.P. Holtz from the practice squad. So I think that as far as fullback goes, we're just going to roll out Colin Saunders from his defensive tackle position when we're in those jumbo sets, big sets that require a fullback. And I think between the 20s, we're probably just not going to run a fullback, or we'll slide a tight end there. We haven't had a lot of success with that. Of course, Taysom Hill can do anything. And with the stable of running backs that we have, I feel like we probably have a lot of plays in there designed for two running backs. So we'll see how this works out. Let's pull up the defense. Here's our black and gold defense. Nothing's changed here either. Peyton Turner still on IR. On the practice squad, we have elevated Ryan Connolly from his injured reserve status back onto the practice squad. Connolly is a very good player, and he could get called up at any time. Jalen Smith has been called up because of the knee injury to Demario Davis, who's still limited in practice. I think we're kind of seeing that limitation in the last couple of games from Davis, though he has been playing. Pete Werner hasn't been as productive. I'm not sure if they're sliding him in the middle and Davis takes a break or not. It's typically what they say they're going to do, and then Nefi Sewell comes out to play. Zach Bowen's been getting a lot of play because we've been in 4-3 base a lot. It's interesting. Our DB room still stacked, still looking great. So how effective is this defensive line going to be against the Colts offensive line? I don't know. I think that the defensive line is kind of missing in action the last couple of weeks. It's how quickly Lawrence got rid of the ball when we lost to Jacksonville. And there's a lot of times we've been playing against beat-up offensive linemen, and we just haven't had a lot of the production that I expected. But overall, it's a good group. Jordan is doing about as good as he has in the last couple of years. He's not great, but he's solid. And Granderson's been having a great year. And our defensive tackles have been playing pretty good against the run. So it's going to be a big, tall task to ask for this defensive line this week against probably the best offensive line they're going to face all year. And we'll see what happens. You know, the head coach of the Colts was with the Eagles last year, and we played the Eagles with Gardner Minshew, and we had a lot of success against that very good offensive line with our defensive ends, Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson. So we'll see if we can have history repeat itself. Marshawn Lattimore had a pick six in that game against the Eagles and Minshew. Minshew's a turnover machine right now. Like I say, if Minshew picks his spots and runs when he can on man coverage, we run it all the time. You know, I think that the Colts can move the ball. So good luck to this great defense right here. These guys are in the top 5 right now. Let's see if we can keep this up. We're going to need to because we're not very good on offense just yet. We've had over 400 yards of offense in the last couple of games. It's been amongst the league lead in the last couple of weeks. And we put up a bunch of points last week. For our offense, anyway. 24. But it wasn't good enough. The defense has to hold the team to under 20, and the offense has to find a way to score over 20. That's the way it's been for the last several years for the Saints. Last year, we lost every game an average of 20-19. And this year, we have to find a way to climb over that 20-point threshold. Can the Saints do it this week against the Colts? My prediction is they can. My prediction is, even though it was a hurry-up offense that we saw that got the team moving, I think that it was more of that base offense when you're in that hurry-up, your kind of training camp plays that, you know, every team does and that our team's probably really good at. Obviously, I mean, Derek Carr went like 6 for 6 or 9 for 9 in a couple of drives. We did it. And got the team down and in the end zone. So I think you can still be a little more basic and still run a huddled, slow-paced offense. I'm hoping. Just don't know. At this point, I'm ready to fire everybody. And the only thing they can do is turn this thing around. This is the last AFC team the Saints play for the year. Typically, if you lose to AFC teams, it's better. We've got the entire NFC South and the NFC to deal with here for the rest of the year. So is it a must-win game for the Saints? Probably not. But I think we'll win. My prediction, final score, the Saints 20, the Colts 13. This is what I'm going with. Could be more like a 20-16 game. I feel like the Colts will have a chance there at the end, as will the Saints. We'll see what happens. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. I will be doing a reaction and review of this game. And that video will probably come out on Tuesday. And until then, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?